How you guys doing? Eugene Johnson, founder of Make Your Mind an Asset. And in today's episode, we answered the question, who are you? So today's episode is all about the question, who are you? And I think it's an amazing question, especially in today's society where so many people get the answer to that question based off of what the media says, and based off of what the news says, and based off of what society says, and based off of what the culture says, and based off of what their friends say, and what social media says, and all of these things. The only way they know the answer to that question is from outside sources. We have come to a moment in history where most people are living the culmination of other people's lives. And they've been doing it for so long that they have no clue who they are. And if you ask people the question, who are you? You know what people will say? I'm a plumber. I'm an electrician. I'm a businessman. I'm a coach. All of these different things. You ask them who they are and they tell you what their profession is. They tell you what they do for a living. They tell you what they do for money. We have come into a day and age where people have prostituted their own identities to the highest bidder. And it's beyond time for us to reclaim our own power. And it's beyond time to reclaim our identity. It's beyond time to get our power back. We lose power when we don't know who we are. We don't know what we stand for. And if you don't know what you stand for, then you'll fall for anything. And you get to a point where you only stand for the things that closely resemble the people that you model. You only stand for the things because Beyonce said that she agrees with that, so I agree with it. See, we don't even know who we are to challenge somebody who we closely assimilate to, so when they say something, we believe it. When Kim Kardashian says that they believe something, then they believe it. When LeBron James says something, or you can take any person, any celebrity, you can talk about your best friends, your neighbors, your co-workers. This is why people don't go after their dreams anymore. It's because they took the identity from the people that they closely assimilate to, and now they can't even think for themselves because they don't know who they are. You can't move forward because you don't know who you are. So you're stuck walking a mile in someone else's shoes, trying to get to your destination, but walking their path. And I used to believe that people just didn't know that they didn't know who they were. And now I believe that some people might be in that situation, but most people know that they don't know who they are, but they never ask themselves the question, who am I? Because if they had to look in a mirror and figure out who they really were, they would be looking through the eyes of society. And when they look in that mirror, what they see is they say, I'm not pretty enough. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough skills. All of these things that I'm not, that I don't look like, that I don't have, that I haven't done. And they start to look at themselves through the lens of what society is looking at them at. And because they don't want to look at themselves in that way, they decided it's better for me to look at myself in the image of somebody else so that I don't have to be myself, because when I think about being myself and who I am, I'm so afraid of being that person because that person is not good enough. So we settle for the imitation, we settle for the clone, we settled for the fantasy. We don't want to live in real life, because if we had to live in real life, we would have to admit that we don't have everything, that we're not perfect. And here's the problem with society today. We only say that you're good enough when you're perfect. You've got to be perfect to be good enough. And because nobody ever will live up to the standard of perfection, then why figure out who you really are? Why? All it's gonna do is create hurt and create pain, so it's better to live this life with the mask of someone else than it is to live my true self. And here's what I want to do. I want to break you of that. I want to break you of the belief that you're not good enough. I want to break you of the belief that you don't need to find out who you are, because not knowing who you are means you're not walking in truth. And if you're not walking in truth, then you can't be truly happy, because you can't pull happiness from external sources. So if you can get happiness, the only way you can get that happiness is when you are happy internally. But you can't be happily internally if you've never been who you are internally in the first place. So if you find yourself in this predicament, it's three things I want you to do right now. The first thing you need to do is get rid of your idea of perfection. I know we all love the Kim Kardashians of the world, but here's the thing. Their life is Photoshop. Now, don't get me wrong. They're fine. Anything that they do is fine. I don't have any problem with them at all. But understand that it's fantasy. It's not the real life. And even though it looks like the real life has been edited to fit your viewing needs. So how can you compare your life to theirs and you see that their life is edited to fit them perfectly. And if something happens that they don't want to be in the clip of their life, guess what? They can chop it out, edit it, and you'll never see it. The problem is you can't live your life like that. Every single day, you can't edit your life. You can't pull pieces out and start over. You can't reshoot it. You can't retouch it. You've got to live your life the way you need to live it. So you've got to remove the mask and decide that, hey, I'm not going to be perfect. And that's okay, because I am me. And if I can work to be the best me that I can be, then I can go for greatness. So the second thing you need to do is, after you drop the mask, you need to love yourself. And here's the issue with loving yourself. Most people have taken Hollywood's idea of what love really looks like. So for the ladies, what they're looking for is they're looking for the guy to throw rose petals at their feet, to bring them flowers every single day, to tell them beautiful sayings of amazing things, and to watch The Notebook and cry and talk about your feelings constantly and never be bothered with sports and football and basketball, and spend time talking to them all day and tell them how beautiful they are every single day and how much you love them. And though we know we would love all of those things, ladies, let me ask you a question. How many guys you ever met like that? Let's be honest. You know, the truth is, they're not gonna be perfect. So maybe they have some of it, maybe they don't. Maybe they have pieces of here. They open the doors for you, but sometimes they forget. Like, who knows, right? But they're probably not gonna have that perfect storybook ending. What happens is they fall in love. Then something happens, they get mad at each other. And then a couple days later, they get back together and they get married and it's all perfect and it's happy ever after and never any problems after that. But that ain't real life. And guys, don't act like you don't do it too. You just do it in a different way. And instead of watching romantic chick flicks, what you're doing is watching adult movies. Yeah, I said it. And what? I said it, right? So you gotta be real, right? So they're watching porn and expecting that the woman will satisfy their fantasies. And it doesn't work like that. And every person is looking for someone else to love them the way they feel like they need to be loved, but they haven't taken the time to figure out how to love themselves. Be the person that can look into the mirror, never doubting the love that they feel for themselves. Here's a challenge I have for you. I want you to look at yourself in the mirror for 5 minutes without thinking about a flaw that you should change about yourself. See, how can you love yourself when you're always judging yourself? Could you love somebody else when they always judge you? They always said you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you need to lose weight, you're not doing the right things. Like, how could you love somebody like that? So most of the time we're saying we can't love somebody else who acts like that, but yet we do the same thing to ourselves. And the last thing you have to do is give up other people's opinion about you. Most people let other people's opinion drive what they wear and how they think and who they should be. And then letting other people tell them who they should be as a person. And you just can't care about what other people are saying or thinking about you. And so how do you not care what other people say and think about you? It's simple. And it's by building up the self-image of yourself so strong and so big that other people are not strong enough to tear it down. Building that self-image inside, it's about what you're saying to yourself. If you know anything about DJ Khaled on Snapchat, he's always talking about they don't want you to win. They don't want you to succeed. And you're always trying to figure out who the heck is they? And guess what? No one knows who they is. So don't bother. Don't worry about it. They don't matter. Matter of fact, studies have shown that only 10 people total will cry at your funeral. And if you're going from the funeral to the burial, the number one factor that determines whether those people go to the burial is the weather. And if it rains, 2/3 of those people are going home. 10 people crying at your funeral, only 10. Imagine that. And you're living your life caring about what everybody else thinks, and only 10 people care enough about you to shed a tear. Why care? Why let those people's opinions drive you? Why not be who you care you need to be? And why not be who you need to be for those 10 people around you who actually care enough about you to cry? So once you've gotten rid of the idea of perfection, and now it's time for you to love yourself, and you can do that, and then you can get rid of other people's opinion, now and only now is the time when you can actually figure out who you are as a person. Now that you've removed the barriers, now you can take the time to say, okay, who am I? What do I need to be? Who do I need to become? How does what I do today shape who I am in the future? Now you can figure out, who am I? Because now you're not determining who you are based off the surroundings around you, based off of your environment. Now you can figure out who you are based off of who you have decided that you want to be. And when you realize that I'm not going to get the vision of my life from the media, and I'm not going to get the vision of my life from Facebook, and I'm not going to get the vision of my life from negative people, and I'm not going to get the vision of my life from television, telling other people's vision. I'm not going to get my vision from there. But I'm going to get clarity on who I am and who God wants me to be. And when I step into that reality, then now I can live a life of abundance. Now I can live a life of true happiness that comes from the inside, not an external thing, not something that I got, but something that I am. So here's my ask of the day. My question is, have you ever dealt with something like this? If you have, how did you get over it? And if you're still dealing with this right now, what can you do to get over it? What can you do to move yourself past it and start to figure out who you are? I'm hoping that something in this sparks some type of idea, and that's what these videos are for, just to spark the idea. I can't give you all the answers because I don't know you. I'm not sitting with you personally, so I don't know what you're exactly going through. But hopefully this sparked the ideas inside of you to say, you know what, maybe I need to figure out who I really am. Maybe I haven't been as happy. I've been a little bit depressed. I've not been figuring out, I haven't felt that full fulfillment. And now I want to. So here's what I can start to do. Here's what I hope to do. Here's what I'm believing that I will do to put myself in a position to, one, understand that I'm not going to be perfect. I can love myself. I can remove other people's opinion and get clear on who I've been called to be. Like always, I appreciate your time and attention. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, like this video, share it, give it to somebody who you feel like this would bless. And as always, remember, let no man steal your vision, because no man gave it to you. God bless. What he says is that the wealthiest place on the planet is the graveyard, because so many people die with their dreams still inside of them.